I'm Adam Johnson. My wife and I have grown our real estate business from nothing into the millions, and now my life's purpose is to show you how we did it so that you can do the same. Starting this month, I'm uploading a ton of free and very helpful videos that will be your step-by-step guide to starting an Airbnb business utilizing our go-to property acquisition technique called Subject to. Follow along these course videos, take notes, and dive into the exciting, challenging, yet very rewarding world of real estate investing with me, Adam Johnson. Enjoy.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Adam Johnson, and this is why you're here. How to manage your pricing and calendar. As I said before, we have made in 2021 over $874,000 gross, not net, gross, using our pricing strategy I'm going to show you guys today. You see the bottom of it says profitability over occupancy. We don't care that we're less than 100% booked, could not care less. We care about the profitability month after month. So I'm going to give you guys the parameters in which we operate our calendar and our pricing strategy, and give you some tips on how to get away from less than desirable clients, because not everybody is your client. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Now, everybody's your client, as I just said. We're going to cover the minimum and maximum stay requirements that you can choose to employ to, again, mitigate or minimize dealing with less than desirable people. We're going to talk about how to steer your clientele, because it's your business. You want your clients to do what you want them to do, all right? We're not in business to please everybody. We're trying to run our business that benefits us. We'll talk about orphan days. What's an orphan day? How can it be beneficial? How can it help you in the long run? And there's also a bonus at the very end. So let's go right into it. So listen to me very closely. I'm gonna do the best I can to break this down. This is a rule of thumb. Many people don't know where to begin when they talk about pricing their new property. They have no idea, what their expenses are, what should they charge per night, so on and so forth. So what I have in front of you is the basic rule of thumb that we use on all of our Airbnbs starting out. As we build data and we have history and we know how this property is going to perform, we can increase our rates, decrease our rates. We can better assess the property using this exact rule of thumb. Okay, so do the best I can to explain it, and just bear with me. These are round numbers, and this is not a one size fits all. You will be making adjustments. This is something to get you started, but this is not where you're going to end. You're not going to use this on day one, and this is going to be your same pricing strategy 5 months from now. Okay, so hear me out. Here's what we do. We take our monthly expenses and we divide that by 21 days. Why 21 days? Because I know I can get my house rented for at least 3 weeks out of each month at minimum. Okay, so I use 21 days as my rule of thumb starting out. Again, rule of thumb, this isn't science, this isn't guaranteed, this is what we use, and it's helped us out. So we use 21 days, and that equals our minimum nightly average, MNA. Okay, just go with me here. So we take our minimum nightly average, all right, and we times that by 1.3. That's 130%. Why 130%? Because we want to make at least 30% profit. So 1.3 is 130 times our monthly nightly average, which is a 30% increase. Okay, so hear me out. That equals our minimum desired nightly average, MDNA. Okay, so here's the example. Let's say that we have a house that costs $2,000 per month. That includes mortgage, utilities, Wi-Fi, lawn care, everything. All things considered, this house is going to cost me $2,000 a month, including cleaning fees, everything. Okay, I'm going to divide that by 21 nights, three weeks. Okay, that's going to give me $95.23 minimum nightly average. Okay, so I have what I want to charge minimum, my minimum nightly average. Okay, I take that 95.23 cents times 100 times 1.3. All right, that's going to give me $123.79, my minimum desired nightly average. Okay, now that's where we begin. That's where we start. From that point forward, I'm going to put it on Airbnb. All right, as it books, if it books very fast, I know my price is a little bit too low. I can always up my rates by 10%. If I put that price on Airbnb and it doesn't instantly just take off, and a day or two goes by with not a lot of activity, I can lower it by 10%. I can start to get some bookings, start to build some history, and over time I can raise my rates. So just please understand, we use this formula on day one. We do not use this formula moving forward, because once we have the history and we start raising our rates, none of that matters anymore. We're past day one. So for you starting out, you have no idea what to charge or where to begin or what your expenses are or how you're going to be profitable, use this formula. It's a great, as I said, rule of thumb to get you started. And you will reassess every week, every month, as you see your calendar being full or more empty. You'll adjust your rates. We'll talk about that a little bit down the road. All right. Pricing for your desired clientele. Now, let me just say, this portion of the course is not politically correct. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to tell you that there are terrible guests. There are crappy people out there. There are less than desirable clients. Okay. If you're in business to serve everybody, it's going to be a hard learning curve for you. Okay. I want you to learn day one what it took us months and months, hell, even a year or two to learn, because we wanted to fill our calendar and we wanted just anybody in the houses. And we learned that's the worst attitude to have. Profitability over occupancy. If you want to have a 100% occupancy rate, make your house $20 a night. I guarantee you, you'll fill it up. All right. If you want high quality individuals, raise that price drastically, because I don't want losers in my house. As I've said before in the previous modules, that it's my property. I want to take care of my property. I want good people in my house. So realize that not everyone is your clientele. You need to niche and really identify your type of client that you want to have in your house, not just anybody. All right. What we have found is the lower the price we have per night, the lower the class of individual. Again, I'm not here to make friends. This is truthfully what we've experienced. The lower the price of the home, the higher the chance of parties. Again, if you think about a person coming into your city and they're loser people, they don't care about your house, they want the cheapest. They don't give a damn about quality. They haven't read your house rules, don't care. They want the cheapest so they can have their party, or they can have 17 people over. They don't care. So we want to discourage those people from even looking at our houses. I want to outprice those types of individuals. By me having higher prices and my competitors having lower prices, my competitors now deal with those losers. We don't have to deal with those losers because we're outpriced from what they're looking for. We're priced too high. So I recommend that you realize your value on day one, and do not ever lower your prices for less than desired clientele. People all the time, because we're outpriced and but we also have great properties in our area, they'll reach out to us all the time and ask us if we can come down to this rate. And we kind of look at their reviews, and they've had terrible reviews because they're terrible clients. And we just say, no, we're priced this high for a reason. And if you don't like it, then it is what it is. But you can talk to our competitors and let them house you, and you can have all the parties you want. That's not my concern. I just want to protect our properties. So realize, again, not every person is your client. Can't say that enough. All right. One way that you can mitigate potential properties, if you don't want to host properties, is having a minimum stay. What that means is, for example, you can say that my house can be booked for no less than 4 days, no less than 5 days, no less than 15 days. Okay. If a person's coming in town to have a party, they're not going to book your home for 5 nights for $1,000 or whatever the case is to have a party. They're not going to do that. So a minimum stay deters a lot of potential bad guests, bad clientele coming into your home. You can also have maximum stays, or you can limit maximum stays. Now, we personally don't have maximum stay requirements, restrictions, because I want people to stay with us for a long time. We have a different strategy. However, I do know guests that want to have, they want high turnover because they get cleaning fees and whatever other fees they may assess. They prefer to have no more than a 5-night stay, a 7-night stay, where that's at your discretion. We don't do either of those. I'll tell you in a little bit how we deter terrible guests from booking with us from day one, even without using a minimum stay or a maximum stay. But that's at your discretion. You have the opportunity to do that. Another good thing about having a minimum stay, for example, like on Airbnb, If my home has a minimum 5-night stay and a person is looking for 2 nights, my home won't even show up on their search. That's great. That obviously they're not going to see it, so they can't book my home. All right. But on other sites, it may be different requirements from what the guest can and cannot see. So you can use the minimum requirement at your discretion. You can use the maximum requirement at your discretion. It's always your house, your rules, what you want to deal with and put up with. All right. So how do we steer our clientele to do what we want them to do? If you want to have certain days for check-ins or certain day for checkouts, for example, you may want to say no check-ins on Fridays, because a lot of times parties are coming for Fridays or and that kind of stuff. People want to come on the weekends to have parties or invite people over and that kind of stuff. So you may, for example, you may have a restriction that people can only check into your home, for example, Sunday through Thursday, Sunday through Wednesday. And likewise for checkout days, you can put certain days. This is beneficial for another reason as well. If you're starting out and you're doing your own maintenance, your own cleaning, you don't have a cleaner that works for you yet, you may not want to clean houses on Friday or Saturday. You may want to be gone for the weekend. So you may put no checkouts on Friday and Saturday so that you can be gone, not worried about cleaning a house over the weekend. That's just one thing that you have as the homeowner in your listing that you can control. Now, what we do is we steer our clientele by giving big discounts. Okay, so here's an example of what we do. As I said the previous slide, we don't do a minimum stay. All right, what we do, for example, is we give a big discount for, let's say that I want my clients to stay with us for at least 4 days, for example. This is an example, whatever you want to do. So what we'll do is, let's say that we'll use round numbers. We'll list our home for $200 per night. So all 4 nights are all nights are $200. Okay. If you book with me for 3 nights, you're going to pay $600 plus a cleaning fee because you're not getting the 50% discount. If you book with us for 4 nights, instead of $800, you get a 50% discount. Now you're only paying $400 plus cleaning fee. So you literally, with our system, if you use that system, a client will pay less for 4 days than they would for 3 days, but you're deterring people from looking at your house. They're only looking for 2 days. If I'm on Airbnb looking for a house for 2 days and your house does show up, it's going to show up at a premium price compared to your competitors. That's what we want. I don't want that person staying with me for 1 or 2 nights because usually 1 or 2 nights are not a good thing in many cases. I want a person staying with me for 4 nights. In our experience, a person that stays for 3, 4, 5 nights or longer, less problems because they're there for the long run. It's the people that show up last minute for 1 or 2 nights that are almost always problems. So I'm gonna say this again. Take your desired length of stay. If your desired length of stay is 7 days, this is an option for you. If your desired length is 7 days, you can go into Airbnb. You can have a very high price point. It can be $200, $300 a night, $400 a night, whatever you want. And then you can give a discount rate of 50% or whatever you choose when they stay for 7 nights or longer. That way you're incentivizing longer stays. Now, a person can book with you in this example for 4 nights, but they'll book for $1,600. Or they can book for 7 nights for even less than that. So they get a bigger discount when they stay for your desired length, or they can stay with you for a short duration at a premium price. It's completely up to you. We use that method. We do not do a minimum stay. We do not do a maximum stay. We give big discounts for stays that are at our desired length or longer. So if a person wants to book with me for 1 or 2 nights, they can at a very high rate. I'm not going to say no to a lot of money for 1 or 2 nights. But even then, we don't have our properties at instant booking. We do our properties at booking request so that we have to allow them, we have to okay the reservation request. On Airbnb, you can either do an instant booking or booking request. We used to do instant bookings. We stopped doing that because anybody could just reserve the home without us knowing anything about them. Now, now that we do booking requests, we can ask them a few questions first. For example, one thing we see frequently is we see locals very frequently wanting to book our homes. My question always is, if you live 2 miles down the road, why are you trying to book our home? It's never a good answer. So that right there, I'm disqualifying them and not letting them book my house. Okay, for me, their money is not worth the destruction or the problem that they're going to create for me. I would rather let the house be vacant for a night and get better clients in there that are going to stay for 4, 5, 6 days, more money, more security, better tenants in the long run. So that's just one way that we do it, is we incentivize by giving discounts for our desired length of stay or longer. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you guys. Orphan days. What are orphan days on your calendar? Okay. And orphan days, what we consider 1 or 2 days, or maybe a little bit longer, they're sandwiched between 2 reservations. As an example, let's say I have a reservation for a house that checks out on a Monday, okay? Then I have a reservation for that same house that checks in on a Wednesday, all right? That means I only have a Tuesday. I have 1 day in between, or actually 2. I have Monday night and Tuesday night. I have 2 days in between that are not likely to be booked, okay? So a day or 2 in between other reservations, we call those orphan days, okay? Now, what do we do with orphan days? We drop the price drastically for orphan days. Why do we drop the price drastically for orphan days? Because usually orphan days are a Monday or Tuesday. Those are low possible, very unlikely to book. So we drop the price because of the Airbnb algorithm, okay? What the Airbnb algorithm does is the Airbnb on the site, if you go to Airbnb right now and you're looking for houses in Clarksville, it'll show all the houses, and it'll show starting at like $95, $72, $114 a night, okay? If let's say this property we're talking about with the orphan day, let's say that usually my price is $150 a night, $150 per night, okay? If I drop that price down to, let's say 75 for those 2 orphan days, just 2 days, it says 75, or even just 1 day. If I put 1 day for $75, Airbnb will show that lowest number, the lowest nightly rate for the next 6 weeks on that property. So if the property, again, this property we're talking about has 2 days, it has a Monday night and a Tuesday night as 2 orphan days. My price is usually $150 per night. So usually when you look at that price on my property, it says $150. So people, if that's below your budget or wherever, it's maybe less likely to click on it. But if it says 75, I'm going to get more clicks. Now, am I going to rent the house out for $75 to losers? Absolutely not. If I can ask a few questions and feel good about it, yeah, I'll rent it to them for $75 because those are nights that weren't going to book more than likely. But more importantly is that I get more clicks on that property, which helps the algorithm, which helps me be at the top of each page when you're looking for my area for houses that fit your criteria that we have. So if you're looking for, 3-bedroom, 2 baths that sleep at least 7, and I have that $75 little price tag on my property, I'm gonna get lots and lots of clicks on that property. So orphan days, we call them throwaway days. They're more likely not gonna book. It hurts nothing to drop the price on those days. It helps your algorithm. It gets more eyes on your property, more clicks, which in the long run will get you more reservations down the road. So that's what orphan days are, and that's how we use them to our benefit. Here's the bonus, okay? Pricing can be mind-blowing. There's lots of factors to take into consideration. Before we used a dynamic pricing, we used to just try to guess at it. And we were staying booked out, but we realized once we started using the dynamic pricing tool, which is Price Labs, that we left tens of thousands of dollars on the table the first year because we weren't charging enough. So what Price Labs, or what a dynamic pricing tool will do for you, they're always third-party websites, so they're not free. We pay for Price Labs. What Price Labs does for us is it takes into account the market analysis. It does all the work behind the scenes that we don't even know about. It takes into consideration occupancy on all the Airbnbs in the area, the hotels in the area, the other prices in the area. Takes into account your occupancy rate. You can set rules within your own Price Labs or dynamic pricing strategy. So for example, let's say that we have a rule that says on this property, if we're ever below 50% occupancy rate, we'll drop the price by 10%. That's an example, okay? It does all that for you. You don't even have to think about it. Once we set our Price Labs, I check on it about every week just to make sure that everything is still in accordance with what we're looking for with our pricing and our strategy and our clientele and that kind of stuff. But it does it for us. It takes into account the supply and demand, as I said before, and it sets, I just talked about the orphan days. I have rules in my price lab that automatically identifies orphan days without me having to go in and do anything. It automatically drops the price for me as to whatever I program it to do. And it automatically helps the algorithm on Airbnb and all the other platforms. I'm a firm believer in automating your business. My business runs for the most part without me. My wife and I, we travel a lot and we do what we do, but our systems, including this type of system, runs a business for us. We're kind of like the puppeteers, controlling everything from afar sometimes. But these systems like this, like Price Labs, it's amazing. I recommend, I implore you to go get to establish a dynamic pricing tool. We use Price Labs. Since we started using Price Labs, we literally have doubled the cost on our nightly rate. And this is probably about 2.5 years ago. We doubled the cost of our nightly rate. And as I said at the beginning of this, last year, 2021, we grossed $874,000 off 22 properties using Price Labs and many of the settings within Price Labs. So that's it. That's the big bonus, guys. Now, let me just say, we talked about the rule of thumb. That's a great place to start. If you're not sure, what you should be charging, you want to cover your expenses and get at least 30%. That's my own personal rule. When I'm identifying a new acquisition for a new property, if I can get at least 30% more than I'm paying to the bank, to taxes and insurance, I'll buy the house every day, all day. So that's my own rule of thumb is 30%. I use that same rule of thumb when I'm pricing my Airbnbs on day one. I want to make at least 30% net profit. And you can use that first slide that we talked about, very broken down for you guys to just plug and play. Put your numbers in there, do the math, and that's what we use. So I hope you guys got a lot out of that, a lot of information. There's so much more to learn, so much more, guys. I want to thank y'all for sticking with me this far, and we got one more module to go, and I'll see you guys there later.
Thank you for watching. If you got lots of value from our free content, you're going to love the one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and seminars that we offer on our website at reisimplified.co. We look forward to guiding you through the early steps of building your business, buying real estate, and working towards financial freedom. Let's go buy some houses.